All right, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert Global Lab patch notes reading for November 29th. I know it came out a few days ago, but it was Thanksgiving in America, so hopefully you guys who celebrated it had a wonderful day. But we are back, and yeah, so if you want to check out the official notes, I'll leave a link in the description to this. It's Google translated from Korean to English, so I'll try to make it make sense. But it's always a good idea to keep up to date with the patch notes just in case there's a patch coming up or like a big event that we should prepare for in advance. It usually comes out like a week later. So yeah, it's always interesting. But with that said, I was so busy this weekend with family and everything that I just did not even look at it. So we're going to take a look at all this together and see what it's all about. All right. So we've had 3 weeks in a row where they're trying to like balance PvE and like buff other classes and stuff. So every class has been getting some buffs except for DK, and we're still waiting for that week. So right now, what do we have? Ninja. Admittedly, I don't really know Ninja and Archer as well enough to talk about it, but it looks like there's more quality of life more than like damage buffs and everything. So it's just like making things work as intended. Well, with that said, new content, improved entry method to the Immortal Abyss. What is that? That's either Pit of the Undying or the Magnus Well. Sounds like it's Pit of the Undying because it says Crow Nest Mercenary thingy, so that's Pit of the Undying. So basically, if you enter from a place other than a large city, a gauge bar will be displayed indicating that you must wait. Okay, so that's nice. You can enter from non-towns now. It's always cool. Royal Workshop improvements. So I made a video about this last week on how to get started with it. It's basically a big RNG thing. It's kind of like setting your workers on nodes. So I'll leave a link in the description if you want to watch that video on how the Royal Workshops work and what it's all about. But overall, basically, you set your workers on a node, or not a node, but like the capital workshop, and then it brings in various things, and then you upgrade the workshops. So anyway, improve the Royal Workshop to allow you to check selected items in unselected workshops without having to change the workshop. Oh, so this can make like either this makes multiple things at the same time? That's cool. Either way, this is very confusing. It is also very RNG if you're trying to make the high-end items. So yeah, it's one of those things you kind of just set one time and then forget it exists. And then you look at your inventory or your storage one day and just like, oh, I got an item. Very cool. And that's about it. All right, the crafting materials for items such as musical instruments, spirit walls have been changed. Oh, okay. So it requires less of everything, whatever that means, and more of Melody of Stars, which is, I believe this item is when you melt down like blue tier accessories. It's something I used to make the mythical sensors a while ago. But yeah, I think that's what it is when you melt blue accessories for or something. Monster grind spot changes. Darkfaller's bedroom. That's Darkseekers Retreat. This is change number like 8 or something since it came out. Dude, they don't know how to balance this spot. They've released it and then they revamped the entire spot to make it different. And then now they're trying to balance it again. So yeah, clearly this spot was not tested. They don't know what they're doing with it. Is it a good spot? Yeah, I think it's fine. But like they just need to, keep it the same and not change it 6 more times. All right, so let's see. What did they say about this? Since the last update, many adventurers with higher stats have been visiting the Darkseekers Retreat. Today's update brings an additional improvement to make your grind experience even more enjoyable. Firstly, the weight of the trash loot has been decreased. Huge. I talked about that in my video where I covered this spot. I was like, oh my god, after like 10,000, my inventory was full. So it's like 0.3 right now, and then the update's probably going to be like 0.1 or something. So you can carry, instead of going triple the loot essentially in your inventory. So yeah, that's a huge thing actually. Additionally, there's some variation with loot acquisition depending on the occurrence of these mechanics. The amount of loot has been increased, and the typical situations where no mechanics occur. Oh yeah, so if you watch my video, I had one event. So what the events are basically when you kill it, there's an RNG event, whether you get like big waves of enemies for like a solid 5 minutes or something. If you get those events, you get a lot of trash loot an hour. If you don't get those events, you don't get a lot of trash loot an hour. See how that... It's actually a big difference. And I think there's like a big boss that I haven't even seen in the hour. So it's like, yeah, it's either you do really well or you don't do really well. So I didn't have a good hour there. I have it on video. You guys can watch, but I've seen other people get like 6 events an hour, and I was like, that's crazy. And clearly their trash loot was doubled mine just because of that. So yeah, this is good that they recognize that if you're lucky, you get really lucky. If you're not lucky, you get destroyed. Lastly, some monsters have been repositioned to ensure you can acquire similar loot wherever you are. I think that's good overall. So like wherever your grind spot is, all the spots are the same. So from 0.4 LT to 0.3, that's a change. Okay, that's good. The drop rate has been changed. This is an aggro spot as well. So so these are the event monsters with corrupt and gluttonous, and these are the regular ones. Agris heat or the Agris fever usage has been lessened, which is good. And the amount of trash loot has been decreased, or from 2 to 4 to 2 to 3. A little bit less, but I think overall you should get more because of the changes. In theory, that's how it works. So overall, I might do another test again with the spot. We'll make another video next week or something when this comes out. That's always good. Tungrad Ruins and City of the Dead. Tungrad Ruins, I think, is the best Ulukita grind spot just because overall you make the most amount of silver there. It's not aggress reliant, and it's, easy. City of the Dead is the worst grind spot in Ulukita just because of the mechanic. So basically when you have to CC the Visionary, right? Or like get the Visionary down to like 90%, something like that. And then once you do that, all the enemies take a lot of damage, and then when you AoE it down, the enemies go flying. And I think they tried to reduce it, so they improved how the drop loot has been flying away. Basically, if you had the JoJo bird or like the bird pets that loot from a distance, you were doing better than everyone else. And now they're trying to make it so like no matter what pet you have, you're doing better. And also that your loot is in the spot where you killed the enemy versus out in the middle of nowhere, if that makes sense. Some monsters in City of the Dead have been changed to no longer fly left or right when killed. Yeah, that shouldn't even have been a thing in the beginning, but it was. So for all of you who are going for the telescope, which is the treasure item, this is going to be a lot better for you. You're probably going to make more trash loot an hour. Silver an hour is good. Yeah, I spent over, I would say maybe around 200 hours going from my telescope when Ulukita first came out, and it was not great. Look, City of the Dead felt like a grind, and like it wasn't fun. Tungrad wasn't that bad. Like you still made decent silver, but overall these are good changes actually, and so hopefully going forward that newer players are going to be able to get their telescope easier. Tungrad archaeological site. The placement of monsters have been changed in the area. Okay, so interesting. We'll take a look at that later. World boss loot. Okay, Gov. What's that even mean? Okay, so random world bosses. Do you guys even still do this? The only ones I actually have a boss at all of these bosses, but the only ones I do are when they're like the buffed version, like the Bloodspawn Nuver and all the other ones. I don't really go to the basic ones anymore. So they changed the fragments for people who do more damage. Obtain one with a given probability of 50 to 60 stack. That's cool. Buffed bosses. Cool. Quint and Maraca. Dude, I haven't even gone to this one in like 3 years, I'm gonna be honest. So for all of you who are going for your often weapons, I guess, very cool, but man, do people still do this? I'm pretty sure they do, but I don't know, man. It's one of those weird things. If it didn't have that matchlock phase, I'm just like, cool. Okay. The drop rate for some of the world bosses have been increased. Okay, so all of these are used to make the house furnishing that gives like the AP buff and everything. So yeah, these are actually worth making or going for. And yeah, they all do something important. So I have a few of them. You use like 5 of them, I believe, and then craft the house furnishing that gives the AP buff. So good. You should be doing these now. Get these done in like 10 minutes instead of 20 or something. All right. The upper price of the exchange thingy has been increased from 500 mil to 2 billion. That's actually a good change. The amount of silver people make these days is so high that these statue buffs are actually worth the 2 bill it costs. So I have a feeling on every server, these are going to go to max price. These are still going to have a lot of orders. I actually think because it gives like 10 charges or 10 uses, these should be like 5 billion. I'm going to be honest. I think 2 billion is still too low. But if you guys are willing to sell it for 2 bill, I'll buy them all. So just end game player things, and it's very cool. So yeah, I think these are worth more than 2 bill regardless. Okay. Added a title that can be acquired when defeating the Landed and Warning Light bosses with the final attack. Okay. Okay, so you like every other boss, if you do the final hit, you get all of this. I'm pretty sure this might be actually translated differently, but something we can all go for over time. Hope for the best. Field boss knowledge. Something they should have added years ago. The health of the next world boss appearing in the morning light has been reduced by 30% compared to before. I think this is a good thing because everyone does them on reset, which is Saturday. And then if you're doing it on like a Thursday or something, less people obviously go to them because they already have it done. You do it once a week for the rewards. So yeah, it does kind of take a while if you go later on in the week, which, you know, it is what it is. But I think that's fine that they're reducing the health of it. The health of all monsters that appear during the often mirror mock has been reduced by 40% before. Good. That boss is a little bit old, outdated. Added the ability to obtain Perfume of Courage when completing the following quests with each character. The Awakening quests for all these classes. Very cool. Okay, so for adventurers who completed the Awakening quest for all of these before, we'll get them. So in theory, as if I remember correctly, you get like 2 Perfume of Courages for doing the Awakening quest line. So for everyone else, you're probably going to get like 12 of them in the mail. Very cool. The Burning Legacy. Hand over the Horn of Garmoth to obtain a young red dragon pet has been changed from a daily repeat to always repeatable. Yeah, so the drop rate for this has been so low that if you even get it once a year, you're doing great. So the fact that they think this is a daily repeatable. Okay. Background, NPC, cutscenes, various things have been changed. If you have completed the existing prerequisite, you can exchange Charizard without having to complete the prerequisite quest again. That's good, I guess. I don't think people are getting Charizard on multiple characters again. Like, once you get it once, I don't think you're going to get a second set, but that's cool, I guess. UI shortcuts for... Oh, dude, this is huge. You could turn on Agris and turn off Agris with one button. Well, I mean, you could do that before by clicking it, but now you can hotkey it, which is 0.2 seconds faster. I think this is a good thing, actually. It's very nice, believe it or not. If you grind a lot, you know. If you don't grind a lot, it's probably not a big deal. All right, so fixes and changes. Let's see. Sage thingy. Some fish that were caught did not match the habitat, fresh or saltwater. So about 2 weeks ago, they added a huge life skill buff, or they revamped life skill buffs, I should say. And fishing was one of them. They added some expensive fish in various spots, and you could catch them wherever. So for all of you who caught that 1 billion silver pink dolphin fish, good for you. I'm still looking for that one. Unnecessary phrases about base benefits have been removed while hovering over the world map. Okay. Fixed an issue where turning off danger notifications was not applied when setting detachable vitality gauge in the UI. Oh, so I think that means like your screen turns red when your health goes below like 20% or something like that. Interesting. All of these are mostly irrelevant, but I'm glad they fixed it. And yeah, so that's about it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's patch notes. I think the highlight is Darkseekers getting changed, or like quality of life fixed again. Royal Workshop is actually something that I don't think they tested really that much at all, but I'm glad they're adding some fixes. World and field bosses, the loot has been increased, and that's always good. I think, in my opinion, as an endgame player, this is probably the biggest change that they added. So I guess for all the people who don't grind a lot and like these are irrelevant to you, the plus 15 AP buff, it's free 2 billion, I guess, if you get it. But for all of us, 2 billion is not enough. I'm just being honest. And so, yeah, hopefully you guys buy them all out, or you sell them more often, and some new titles. So with that said, thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I still have a lot of videos to work on, as well as some guides to update for the December month and throughout the next year. So hopefully you guys stick around. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Love to see you come back. Hit that like button as well, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.